Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Mike Force podcast. So, got to catch you up. I just did a Monday sit rep for my Patreon channel. It's patreon.com/Mike Glover. One of the things I talked about is this supposed or alleged attack that was going to take place in Italy where 40,000 people attended this Catholic ceremony. These two Turkish men were stopped and thwarted in a plot to conduct an attack, and they had automatic machine guns, semi-automatic pistols, and they were about to get, apparently, their jihad on. It's all alleged right now. The first thing I thought about, and I'm just putting this out here because I talk about it on my Patreon. We talk about it in Substack as well as Survival Dispatch, the live show we do every single week. For weeks now, we've been talking about the prospect of a jihadist-style attack in America. And I think it's one of the most critical threats that no one is paying attention to. It reminds me of September 10th and the complacency and the ideas we had around the world, that we were untouchable, that nobody could ever infiltrate our country. Well, now we see the mass migration, some of it legal, most of it, in our situation, illegal, of immigrants throughout the world. 300 South Koreans were just rolled up and released because we did a deal with the South Koreans that were at the Hyundai plant. Hyundai plant, to be correct. Now, why would there be 300 Koreans at the Hyundai plant? Well, I don't know. If you're a billion-dollar corporation based in South Korea, or headquartered at least, and you're manufacturing cars on behalf of your country, and you want to cut some of the profits off for your own country, well, you illegally hire 300 of your own citizens that were freely invited into our country because of the policies, the radical policies that led us to this position or point in our history today. I have always said that there's a whole bunch of things that D.C. goes through, a whole bunch of policy that's never going to affect you or impact you. Well, this is the exception. Because those 300, for example, jobs are taking away from American jobs. And then when you have all of these things from jihadists who have a plan through their infiltration of open borders to take advantage of that with all the other things that we're tied up into. Now we're moving warships off the coast of Venezuela. It's already happened. We're getting threats from them, by the way. We have this ongoing campaign against the cartel, which is developing rapidly, and now a jihadist network that's been activated and more able with access and placement to conduct an attack than ever before in our history. I just saw that we conducted, I think, 6 or 7 different attacks in 6 or 7 different countries. At the same time, Kim Jong-un, Putin, and Xi, the president of China, who will be the president of China forever, are having a parade to celebrate the 80th anniversary of Japan's surrender, courtesy of America, dropping nuclear bombs on them. When I see this, I think to myself, our enemies are becoming allies that are getting further apart from our control. That whole term, like that whole saying, keep your enemies closely. My buddy Greg Dinkin wrote a book for Patrick Bet-David, Choose Your Enemies Wisely. That's exactly what we need to be thinking about. You know, why would we not be cooperating, collaborating, and communicating, even communicating with Putin? They shed 11 million people gone like that during World War II, and we were allies. Yeah, I get there's a lot of things that have transpired since then. But to push our enemies further away so they consolidate, organize, and then potentially utilize and leverage their technologies, whereby Xi, at his parade, which I did a reacts to, that's coming out this week, to that parade, is showing off his tech and drone capability. Russia is using that capability and Chinese-made drones to conduct an attack against Ukraine with 800 drones. 750-ish were shot down, but 50 made it through. Why is that scary for me? Because I think about the potential fallout. That fallout is domestically, we have mayors that are so radical, they don't even want the government coming in to stop crime that is rampant. Where I looked at it on heyjackass.com, which is a great website that outlines all the crime going on in Chicago. 11 total homicides this week. Shot and killed, 11. Shot and wounded, 46. Total shot, 57. Up 14% from this time last year. So at the same time that's going on, we have jihadist, cartel, and now Venezuelans looking at us as an adversary, the enemy, and doing whatever it takes to attack us. It is a matter of time. We talk about this every week on my bracket of time on Wednesday evenings on Survival Dispatch, which I put on my Patreon, the link at least, and that's absolutely free. You could join my patreon.com/Mike Glover in the link down below and become one of 11,000+ members that are part of that. I also am releasing a new Substack called Dead Drop in coordination, cooperation, and partnership with many, to include Khalid Muhammad, an intel expert, my buddy Matt Butler, who took me through an incredible journey this week. I'll tell you about that here in a second, but retired Lieutenant Colonel. Also, we have Jane Doe, who's joining the team from the Sean Ryan podcast, as well as, I hope, Sarah Adams joins the team as well, and several other high-profile intel analysts and experts that will be able to give you this current events and all the things that we're talking about. Also, I had a planned protest this weekend, which I'm canceling because not enough people are going to show up to it. Now, here's what I learned about my own circumstance and situation I'm dealing with fighting for my children. I don't want to fight for my children to take them away from their mother. I just want equal parental rights as their father. That doesn't exist in this country. If you're a father and you have your children, be blessed. Everything's good now until it's not. And when it's not good, it's because the institution has an incentive to remove fathers from the home, despite the egregious statistics involved in the foster care system. Not like the institution is going to do any better, but more profoundly, the likelihood of especially men that grow up as boys without their father turning into criminals. I mean, it's disgusting, all the mental health, suicide, all the issues that a child will face without their parents. And I'm not talking about a perfect marriage and relationship. I'm talking about even divided homes that have a father and mother present. When I'm present with my babies, visiting them, I am present. They're my world. And I will do anything for them. That's what I mean, a proactive parent. And no proactive parent, despite the allegation, with no criminal conviction, should be taken from their children no matter what. And that's the world we're living in. Well, I plan for a protest with We Are the People. We Are the People Utah is an organization that I work with. I will link their Instagram because I want you to follow them. I don't call to action often. Follow their Instagram if you have an IG account down below, We Are the People Utah, so you get the model of what you should be building in your own backyard. In fact, if you're one of the people who has a little bit of a platform, or you start from scratch and you do We Are the People Colorado, We Are the People California, we will help you grow, because I think everybody needs a We Are the People and name your state to advocate for you, your community, your people in your own backyard, your own communities and tribes. The federal government only has so much influence on what they can impact. It's your state laws, your city council, your local sheriff. Those are the decision makers, which is going to impact and affect your life and your children's lives. And if you have the wrong institutions because they're corrupt, and you're dealt the hand that I was dealt, and you don't have a platform to stand on, well, guess what? You don't have a leg in the fight. You don't have any chance, and you have been crippled, and you're fighting from the fetal. And I don't want that to happen for you. So We Are the People. We're planning a big rally in October that is going to be huge. Be on the lookout for that. And I am going to be an active participant and contributor on wearethepeople.org or their Instagram, again, which I'll link all their stuff down below. They're a nonprofit. Support We Are the People, because we need that type of model and support in our own backyard. And if it doesn't exist, guys, get off the bench and do something about it. When crap hits the fan, if the jihadists get off their attack, if the federal government starts locking things down like they have done before, they start stripping us of liberties and our freedoms, you, your community, and the people that you've brought together are going to be the only chance of standing and fighting against that tyranny. It's bound to happen. It's how the pendulum swings. Also, lastly, I want to talk about a couple things. One, I did a podcast with Matt Butler. That podcast will be dropped. It was a podcast that we have filmed, but it will be dropped this week about his journey from Green Beret all the way to shaman. And I know, man, I get it. You hear the word shaman and you're like, what? A shaman? Come on, shaman. I get it until I experienced it. And now I get it professionally and respectfully. And I'm a believer. I'm not a believer in witchcraft and black magic. I'm a believer in what I went through recently through a therapeutic dose of psilocybin through Matt Butler's church. That is a controlled environment and a legal way to get therapy for guys who are suffering from, in my case, traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress. And it doesn't have to be associated with the military. Many people suffer from it, or just difficult mental health issues. We talk about the legalities, we talk about the protocols, we talk about all that in both the podcast and the special segment I filmed for my patrons. I will post on the free side. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. I did post it on this podcast on the Sunday edition called Preaching to the Choir, which for now is a special segment of my podcast. I will have a breakout as soon as my 501c3 is approved. But ultimately, what I realized in that heroic dose, it's known as a heroic dose, anything above 5 grams is, what I've realized is we're all connected. God showed me the beginning, the middle, the end. It was one of the most profound experiences of my life, but has done something really interesting to my brain. It's gotten rid of my fog. My buddy Greg from Wasatch Wakegoog even came in and said, hey, man, your eyes are different. Are they bigger? Am I less Asian? Like, what's going on? No, your eyes seem clearer. And they are. The white in my eye is clear. That's also thanks to peptides from Beyond Wellness and another company that has the constituted version, or the version that you have to constitute. That's helped profoundly. But also, this experience has changed in neurogenesis and through how psilocybin affects the brain, creating new neural pathways, moving around. I call it flanking and maneuvering around trauma and damage. Traumatic brain injury, look, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I haven't had horrific injuries in the military. I ripped my hamstring off the bone. I've been hit in the head with shrapnel in a training exercise. I've had my 3 back surgeries related to injuries in military free fall. I'm lucky. There are many people who I serve with who are not so lucky, and they deal with very complicated medical issues. I'm lucky. But traumatic brain injury and the rattling of my head is something that I do deal with. The brain fog is real. This has done something really weird in my brain where they call it like a reset. But it's not the end. It's not like the solution. It's the beginning. It is the start point. Now all the work that I do for the next 30 days and developing new routines and protocols are going to greatly impact my brain health and body health and mental health for the future. There's a reason why it's illegal federally and in most states. In some states it is legal. The federal government has just authorized, as of May of this year, certain organizations, to include hospitals, to begin psilocybin therapy for post-traumatic stress, traumatic brain injury, and cases where people have been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer or some disease or ailment that is going to lead to their demise, to their death. It helps with coming to terms with that fear and impending doom that we have. Why is that impactful? Well, hopefully it gets off the Schedule 1 series and is more readily available for you and for me, but not recreationally. What I've realized in the structure of Matt being a Green Beret, a shaman, someone I respect and trust, is it was very deliberate, very safe, and I felt good doing it. But I can't imagine a circumstance where your buddy's like, hey, bro, you want to go trip balls in the woods? Like, how about no? And that could lead to bad outcomes or worse outcomes. So do it legal, do it the right way, and do it because you need it. And it's my opinion, like we shared on the podcast with Matt, via his opinion, that philosophically he thinks everybody needs it. And so do I. It will bring profound enlightenment, understanding, and impact to your life. But it is not for everybody. I wanted to share that experience with you. You guys could go back to Preaching to the Choir on Sunday. You guys could also tune into the next podcast on this podcast with Matt Butler. Guys, this week, I believe we're releasing SOP, Standard Operating Procedure is the acronym for Wolf 21. I started Wolf 21 because I wanted to help people with sleep. I also discovered cannabinoids, which have been egregiously miscategorized by the federal government and illegal for so long. Now it's not the case, but illegal for so long is a threat to Big Pharma. I also know that some of you in law enforcement, military, or positions where you can't have even trace amounts of anything in your system related to cannabinoids, even though ours is derived from hemp, which has no THC, no psychoactive properties, we wanted to start a product called Stand Down to help you get a good night's sleep with natural supplementation, including magnesium, reishi mushroom, a whole bunch of things that are going to naturally induce sleep without compromising the natural production of melatonin that help you get to sleep. Like our microdose of that helps you sleep soundly with the other elements to include chamomile and reishi mushrooms. So it's available right now. It's called Stand Down. I'll link it down below with a special coupon code. I believe it's 20 to 25% to save you on your first purchase. I started the Wolf 21 because I believed in alternative means outside of Big Pharma of getting the help that you need to kickstart the help that you need and to progress your health and wellness and getting to a healthier you. So check it out down below at thewolf21.com. Guys, I appreciate you. It's going to be a great week. We got a lot of content on the horizon. We have a whole bunch of stuff that we have planned for my Patreon. I'm doing a 72-hour hyper light bug out bag piece of content. I just posted Load Out, which is a series that I'm doing that includes how I break down my vehicle and do a loadout. I'll also link that down below because it is free for members. Guys, I appreciate you. Till next time, have a good week. Peace out.